Star Trek The Menagerie. All right, so this is a two-parter from the original series. It's basically kind of like the pilot retooled to be an episode. We're going to talk about this using my space system. So story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. Choose the best you can get in any category. This one is a bit of a weird one for me. I'm kind of torn on some of this. I'm going to give the storyline a 1. The reason is that I'm not completely sure that Spock would do what he does in the movie. I feel a little bit like they wanted to use this footage that they shot with Pike and his crew, and they had to fit it in some way. And because Leonard Nimoy was the only actor that was in some kind of role that's the same as he is now, like Spock's the only guy that they held on to, they're like, let's say that he wants to help Pike out. I think Spock would go around it a better way. I don't think he would like hijack the ship and lie and all that. They even addressed it in the episode itself. Like McCoy is like, well, Jim, he would, it's like, maybe I would do it, but, certainly not Spock. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think Spock would. So I'm really torn on this one. I'm trying to be critical. I love the original Star Trek series, all of Star Trek, the real Star Trek, 735 episodes of Star Trek, anything that JJ and on, 2009 and on, Star Trek's dead to me. But before that time, I really like all the Star Trek shows. The original Star Trek series is the best. It's the first, so you can't, obviously it's the best, I guess. It is what it is. I personally love DS9 and Voyager a lot, though, as well. But yeah, I don't know. Spock's my favorite Star Trek character. He's also one of my favorite characters of all time in anything, really. It's tough. I'll give it a 1. I guess, like they're saying, I guess if they're saying Spock will do it, he did it, but it just seems weird to me. For the pacing and also the story that within the story, like the actual story you're getting, with Pike's guys finding that planet, I felt that nothing was really happening there. They just kind of found the planet, and then it's like, oh, we were just testing you with illusions and stuff. You're like, oh, okay. So even the story within the overall story is kind of weird. The pacing, I'm going to give it a 1. This one's a bit of a slow go for me, especially because I'm watching Spock do things I don't think he would do. He kind of gets a pass at the end too. It's like, well, everything's okay. It's like, well, is it okay? What the hell? Like, you manipulated a lot of systems. So, yeah, again, back with the story. Geez, I might have to give it a 0.5. I don't really like this story. Let me think about it as I do the review. Pacing is a 1. I'm not bored completely, but it is a little bit slower. Should be picked up. The artistry, I'll give it a 2. Everything looks good. They go to that other alien planet. They're like, those are the caves and stuff. They are wearing those. I don't like the Pike uniforms. But everything else looks good. So it's fine. The everything looks good. Music's good. Lighting is all good. I always point out on this category that I am watching the upgraded versions. So again, keep that in mind. I'm not against them. I'm fine with them as long as you have the option. The Blu-ray gives you the option to watch the original version and then the upgraded ones, not like Disney Star Wars where you can only watch the special editions, which suck, if you needed to know my opinion on that. The characters, this is again, I'm torn on this because where I don't think Spock would be doing these things. And I don't know. I actually like Pike in the middle, like in the story within. He's pretty good. So, but the rest of his crew is bland as hell. Like, I'm sorry. We lucked out on getting the guys that we did get, because I love original Star Trek series. To me, has great stories and great characters, and sometimes maybe things aren't done as well, like in this episode. But the characters, I'm usually a character person first. If I like these people and I like spending time with them, I got to spend an hour with them. So if I like them, then that hour goes by quickly. You don't get a lot of them in this one because it's still the story within the story, right? So, and the stuff outside of it, they're not doing much. I'll give it a 1 point for the characters. I don't know. I wish it could have been um, a little bit better. Enjoyment factor, I'll give it a 1. You know, it's okay, I guess. Like, I don't know. This is probably, so I'm giving it a 6 out of 10, but I'm looking at my notes and reevaluating as I'm doing the video. I'm doing this like on the spot here, and I don't edit my videos. I don't remember for sure, and I haven't finished season 1 yet, but I'm pretty sure this is my weakest one for season 1. I just don't really care about what's going on with the story within the story, and I also don't care. And I also don't think that Spock would do all this stuff and he gets off and you're just like, oh, everything's great. And you're like, yay. It's like, well, okay. I mean, Spock did major crimes here. Like, to save Pike, that's great and noble, but like, you're telling me Spock, and they kind of, and he goes up to Kirk, and Kirk's like, well, you could have just told me. And I'm like, yeah, you could have just told him. Like, I don't get it. Just tell him. Well, you wouldn't have believed me. Are you sure? I don't, or whatever. I don't remember exactly what he says. But yeah, I actually might. I think I might take the story down to 0.5, and I actually might take my enjoyment factor to 0.5 and make this a 5 out of 10. I think I am going to do that. I'm going to make the story 0.5. I'm sorry. It's just, I can't. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. Again, I'm not saying this is the worst thing ever made. Like, obviously, anything JJ's done is way worse than this. But I'm just saying that, I'm comparing Star Trek to Star Trek. So we're looking at season 1 here. And season 1 has had some 10 out of 10 episodes where you're like, oh shit, yeah. This one so far has been clearly the worst for me. Some people might find more enjoyment out of it. That's great. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 officially then. Yeah, look, I'm sorry. I like Pike and all those guys. You know, I like Pike. I don't really like the other guys. Sorry. It's just not for me, this one. But love Star Trek, guys. If you've been watching all of these videos, I thank you so much. If you like my space system, please like the video and subscribe. And check out some of my live streams. And check out Clobberin Times, who's my friend of the channel. He's been on several streams with me. He and his crew, Mark and Raquel, have been doing Saturday night Star Treks. They've been doing them since the dawn of time. They are scrutinizing the hell out of all these. Like, if you want the in-depth analysis of every episode, that's what you got to be watching, because they really go through each episode, like, and pick everything apart. So check them out. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Until next time.